Hey guys, how's it going? So I was able to obtain this piece of equipment thanks to Jason helping hook me up with this one also. It is a log splitter of unknown vintage, I'm gonna guess probably 20 years old, that has been sitting here for a long period of time, judging by the wood pile behind it, has not moved or anything done with it, and the rust that is on it. So she's been sitting a while. It looks like, my guess is maybe somebody, maybe it blew an engine and somebody fabricated this engine onto it because of the custom exhaust system and the custom gas tank and bracket setup that has been welded to it. It does look like it's been bleeding out some oil for quite a long time. Not sure what's going on with that. Let's go see if it turns. Yeah, that's good. I'm not feeling much compression though. Yeah, it's not much of a... I should be putting up a better fight than that. So it may or may not have issues, but that's the fun part of it, right? You get to go figure that out. A little toe behind. What's the tonnage of it? 22. That's a decent setup. It actually looks like it tilts up too. So we're gonna go get this on the trailer, bring this home to where it's a little bit more comfortable to work on, see if we can resurrect it and bring it back to life. Yeah, let's go check the gas tank. There's nothing in it. Ooh. Yeah, it's got that vintage smell to it. That looks like it's off of a snowblower. He said he didn't care about denting his tractor. Let's see how this goes for us. Oh yeah. Hold it. Don't need that. Sometimes your wheelbase, yeah, is just a little off. You gotta work with what you got. That was smooth. Yeah. I think a 4x4 can fix that. Fixed. Let's get a better idea of what we got now we got it up on the lift and we can see what's going on. So it looks like they made a little control panel. I figure that's a start, choke, and I would think that would be running off. Cobbled muffler and a bunch of bracketry. It looks like I said it probably had a different engine setup. Somebody, it probably blew up or whatever the issue was, and then switched it all over to this engine they probably had laying around. Does not have a pull start, so you got to go electric start only. I don't know if that's where the control valve would have been. Yeah, maybe. That looks pretty stock, right? I don't know about the hose going over the top of it. Maybe, maybe not. Now that we're looking at it. It does tilt up. I would figure there's got to be some way to lock it in the down position though. Maybe something was here. Here's a hole down the center there. This should be the tank for the oil and a filter. I say we probably get into the engine, see what is going on with the engine, whether it runs or not, and what it needs to get it running, or what it failed for. We'll get a test light on the battery, see if we've got any power left in that. And we'll get that cover off. Let me get it set up and stand, and we'll start digging in it. Let's go see. That battery is stone dead. I'm looking at it, it's got a bulge sticking out of each side of it. So usually, we're in a cold climate here. We have winters, and if they lose their charge, the water, I think the water and acid separate. I'm not sure of that, but anyway, the water will freeze and it'll expand and crack the plates internally. That's that big bulge you see on the side of it. I'm pretty much thinking that battery is junk. I like the hold down. But we'll pop that out of there. We'll throw it on a charger just for shits and giggles, see if we get anything for a charge, and we'll move on. Too bad the little tabs aren't popped out of the battery. You could probably get an idea when this was last used. I don't know if maybe the serial number tells us something. Maybe that's 09, 32nd week maybe. Not sure. Yeah. I'm gonna throw that on a charger, not giving her, like I said, all that much hope for coming back. Another thing I noticed too, I took the battery terminals off. It has lamp cord or speaker cord for the ground cable. I think it's if that's a indication of what things we're gonna go find. This is gonna be a fun project. Take the air cleaner cover off. See if we have any nest in the tins. I don't see anything from the exhaust side of the fan. It's a good sign. Just a little mud wasp nest right there. Looks pretty good. See if our throttle moves. It does. Let's go see if it's got oil in it. Let's see what that has to offer us. That looks decent. Enough to run it or spin it. Let's get the plug out of it. We'll dribble a little bit of oil down the plug hole. And it's pretty chalky. Pretty chalky and pretty corroded. It's just weather got to it, or it ran with the choke on a lot. That's pretty goobered up. At least it came out right. This is just two-stroke oil that you would mix with gas. Premix. I'll let that kind of soak down around the rings a little bit. Spin her over. It's got a bit of a clank to it, but it might have a decompression valve in it. I see we get a jumper pack. Hook it to those leads. Hit the button, see what we get. We probably should take that coupler off the oil pump too. The hydraulic pump. And get that out of the circuit. We'll just spin it a little bit, see what we get. Listen to things. See if compression comes back, that's the biggest. Alright, let's see if any of this stuff works. Nope. You impressed? Let's get rid of that ground and we'll go for something right on the engine. Let's go for that bolt right there. Nope. Let's go for, oh. We got power going to it. And nothing. Let's go get a screwdriver. Actually, we'll just go right to the lead. It's a good sounding starter. popping out the top pretty good. Or we should throw a compression tester in there. I don't know if you saw any of that. Just watching the plug hole. It's got like nothing, like 10. Ooh, that starter sounds good. It tries. Again, it might have a decompression, but usually you get like 50 or 60 PSI. Yeah. I didn't exactly think it was going to run right away, did you? Let's go throw a plug in it. We'll flip that switch up to the run position. We'll see if we get any spark. Where'd the plug go? The oil tank's making some gurgling noises. Let's see if we get anything. Yep, it's got spark. And try dribbling a little bit of fuel in her, see if she does anything. No, let's get that coupler off. I don't want to be running that oil pump until we look into that setup. Let's see if we can get that Allen screw loosened up and get this collar to slide back and disconnect the pump. Probably should have done that to start with, because if there was any water in the tank, would have been a good time to drain it before I started circulating it through the system. Hindsight, you know. Sometimes there's two grub screws, one after another. No, that's good. Let's go see if there's one on the other side. Yep, got another one there. I could smell bad gas. That carb is going to be pretty goobered up. Just take them right out. We might have to shoot some oil in there to get them to get it to slide. We should probably take a wire wheel real quick. Let's see if this does anything. Take a wire wheel real quick, clean some of this rust off, and then see if we can tap this way. Actually got a little Scotch-Brite. See if that does it. The one that I didn't loosen up is the one that's moving on the pump. Figures, right? It was just those two grub screws, right? Yeah. Shoot some lube in there. Sometimes length does matter. Let's try spinning it and make sure we're good to go. There you go, that'd be fun. Alright, where were we? We were going to have a little bit of fun with gasoline. About that much. Let's see if we get anything. It blew some mouse crap out too. I don't know if it showed up or not. Somebody's not happy, they just got launched. That's a wasp. So we got a live bee's nest in it somewhere. That's a good thing. Yeah, good thing it's cool in here right now. Sometimes you gotta do it twice, just because. Give her a little bit more. Yes, it's got decompression valve. That's why you don't get a good reading on it. Let's see, can you see the exit of the exhaust? Does seem to be puffing. I don't know if that's leaking right around the muffler. If that was just leaking right there, or if it's got a leak of a blown head gasket. And that would also make a low compression number 2. Possibly has a blown head gasket. Well, let's get into the carb. Get this tin out of the way. We got to get the float ball off. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty nasty. And we'll see what we got to do with getting the carb to function and kind of move from there. Get it running. We'll see if it's got a blown head gasket. If so, we'll dig into that part of it. Whoops. Wasn't even really tight. That looks pretty clean. That's one of those. Let's see if we can sneak that out of there without killing the gasket. It's actually 2 gaskets. There's one. Let's see if we can get that apart. That's one. And then there's one that's kind of like a, not a dampener, I'm trying to think what you would call it. A baffle. Yeah. Especially on something that shakes real bad. Kind of keeps the fuel from splashing around. That's going to be a fun one to get back in there, huh? Yeah. The sad part is it actually looks pretty clean. But if you knew we didn't take it apart, it would have been nasty. That's the way it works. That's spotless. Actually, looks like somebody put a new carburetor on it. Let's go see what the needle and seat look like. This fuel did smell pretty rancid. That all looks really good. That's probably about the best we've ever taken apart. A little bit of crap on the base of the carb. Everything else looks pretty good. So it runs a fuel pump down here. So you can put the fuel tank wherever we want. This is Polyflow or Tygon tubing. We can get rid of that. And we gotta figure out where to go mount a gas tank. But we could probably put it back together and get some gas in the carb and see if she'll run off the carb. I don't see a really even an issue to take that apart and soak it or clean it. It looks pretty decent. Throttle seems good. I don't know what's going on back here. It's probably not a good idea to have that getting stuck in the way of the throttle. Looks like it's broke a screw off. Yeah. Your fuel mix still turns. Alright, let me go cobble something up. Actually, that battery's been on the charge for about 20 minutes. Let's just see if it's doing anything first to see if the charger lights it up, which it does. We take one side off. If it lights up, that means we're getting something in it. But look at that. It actually surprised me. I'll let her go cook for a little bit. See if we're getting any heat on it. Seems alright. Good, we'll let that do its thing. Actually decided, let's go look at some other stuff. For assessment first, let's go see what we got for oil in it, if there's any oil in it. Again, it had that big puddle underneath it where it was, so it was either engine oil or hydraulic oil, right? And it's got a dipstick built into it. It does. Actually, it looks fairly clean. Let's go wipe that off and it's got oil in it. low, it's actually, you got to go by, well, the piston's all the way collapsed, so that would be the fullest the tank would be. The piston, this being the piston, so when this piston is all the way out, the cylinder is going to fill up a hydraulic fluid and it's going to lower the hydraulic level in the tank. When the piston's all the way in, all the oil is going to squirt back to the tank. Well, half the oil is going to squirt back to the tank and bring the level up a little bit. This has hydraulics on both sides, so there's hydraulic fluid on both sides of it. Well, one direction on the return is the difference between the inside piston of the cylinder and the outside of the cylinder, the piston and the cylinder, because the shaft going through it takes up some volume. When the piston travels up, there's nothing but fluid on the other side of it. Too much information? Let's see if I look inside. I just want to make sure there's no water. Oh, it's hard to tell. Actually, it looks pretty good. A little cloudy, but it is gear oil. It's not like it's... I am just going to go take a squeegee, not a squeegee, a turkey baster. I'm going to draw from the bottom of the tank real quick, and we'll put it in the pan. Just make sure there's no water sitting on the bottom down there. That's all I'm concerned about. So we get all the way to the bottom, and this corner is the lowest part of the tank. So. There it goes. A little bit of crap in there. Like I said, what I was afraid of, if it had some water in it and I fired it up, I'd contaminate all the lines, and that's a pain in the ass to get it all out of the system. If there was water just sitting in the bottom of the tank, it's a good time to go get it, because the rest of the system hasn't been filled with it yet. I don't know if this has a drain on it. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Let me go see if I have any fluid. It's a little contaminated, but it's not terrible. I'm not really seeing any water in it. A little bit of dirt, but that could have been in the turkey baster too, not in the tank. And going around my stash, that should do it. I believe this is the draw for the pump. It takes the oil up from. And then the filter side of it, this side is the return. It's a yes. Ooze. Yeah, it's a little cloudy. Like I said, we got it, so I might as well use it. Not sure how much it takes. So I was proactive by having 2 trays ready to go. Just got done changing the oil in my parents' Sequoia. It holds 8 quarts. I'm like, yeah, it'll be fine. It's getting up to the level. I had to scatter. I had to scatter. We'll get another pan. Hopefully this doesn't take 3. I'll check my stash and see if I have an oil filter that'll fit that. If not, I'll go get one tomorrow. Well, I didn't find a filter, but I found a muffler possibly that we can use. And a little kitty wampus, so you can straighten it out to get the rest of the oil out on the left hand side. You see right about there, it looks level. Well, that's draining. We've got a couple things we can chase. I'm not sure which way I want to go. We got to figure out either the solenoid's no good or the starter button's no good for why it won't crank. I want to check the charging system. So it's got a regulator rectifier right here. These two white wires coming in come off the front charging system. AC come in, DC on the middle wire goes back out. That's that purple wire going out. Somehow this has to get back to the positive side of the battery. I think it should be switched. I'm not sure if it'll have a parasitic drain if it's not switched. I'm not sure on that. Maybe not. But all the wires turn to white down here. I'm not sure what is hooked up to what. I do not see anything going back to the hot post. Possibly this is it, but I'm not sure. This might just be what feeds the power to the switch to fire this relay. So we're gonna go chase some of that stuff out. Plus I need to just go bolt the carburetor up. So I think I'm gonna get the carb taken care of, and maybe we'll chase a little bit of electrical while that's still dribbling out the bottom. Well, considering all those wires are white, and I don't know what goes to where because it's hard to trace, let's go cut all the tie wraps off and open them up. All right, let's see if we can trace some of this stuff out. I'm going to put power back up to the lead, so that was ground. 12 volts to there, we'll put a test light on it. We'll just kind of probe around and see what we got going where. I'll make that one arc out again. Right, test light, we're just going to hook the ground side. And anything that has 12 volts positive should light the light up, like that. Right, let's go see if we have anything over on the push button. Let's see where it goes. So that should be ground. This side should be ground. This side should get 12 volts. I'm going to push the button. That's working. There we go. Good. I think if anything, it's a switch. It seems like every time the light lights up, it does fire the solenoid. I think it just needed to be fondled a little. Good. Let's go kill spark. Well, that made life easy. Well, I think we can do a little bit better on the muffler. So let's change things up a little bit and get rid of what's there. Check this thing out. Angle the head however you want it. Yeah, they even had it on backwards too. The arrow's going the other direction. We'll save that for some other project. Yeah. Let's see what we got for this. If this is even close to anything we can work. We can weld it on too. I don't know if that's where we want it. Kind of be nice if we kind of like exit it underneath the machine somewhere. Maybe we could run some piping down, get it out of our way. We still got to find a spot for the gas tank. That's out of the way, and remember, like when we're splitting wood, yeah. So this thing, we either split wood like it is, and it rotates down this way. So you want to be able to kind of reach over the machine, get a log on there, and hit the lever. Be nice if that was, I don't know, can you grab it from the other side? Like, where would you operate this machine from? You're kind of reaching over on this side, right? I have to ponder that a little bit. Any thoughts? I would think this would be the side you want to operate on, but I don't know if you want to be leaning over it, firing that lever, you know, and having your gut kind of like in this area. Up and down is not too bad, but if it's in trying to use it like this, should probably look at a picture of how it was normally assembled with the other engine. Yeah, we're kind of on our own. The engine that was on there was a like a lawnmower engine, vertical shaft going out, and totally different shape. So this is kind of getting us. I wish we can rotate that a little bit. I do not see. We can probably loosen that collar up, turn it down some, but then we're going to be smashing into the governor setup. Yeah. I don't know if... I figure we could put the gas tank here. They may have had it up top. It kind of... I see this bracket sitting up here. I don't know if that's what the gas tank was connected to. I don't see that being a good setup. I'd rather have it on the frame than vibrating on the top of the motor. But we can't have a plastic gas tank with exhaust shooting right out of it. I don't know if... we got the battery here. Maybe like that. If we can do that. Might not be a bad idea. Let's see if I have any piping that kind of fit on this and see what we can cobble together. And I don't want it... because that's kind of in your face, right? Should probably throw that air cleaner back on it too, just for claiming its space. So, I think that's where the gas tank originally was. It's even got a hole cut out for it. I wonder if the fuel pump failed and they went and stuck the fuel tank up top so that it would just gravity feed to it. But again, that's going to be no good. And then the battery's here. So the best would probably kind of like, I don't know, if we can get it down like that, exit underneath the machine. But the problem is you're still going to have a hot piece of pipe kind of running next to the side of the battery. I don't know if that's great. Just too bad it didn't exit, you know, out that side of it. Would have been so much easier to deal with it. I think maybe we'll try it right here. I don't think this is plastic, so we got to kind of stay away from that. And we also need to stay away from the gas tank for obvious reasons. If we can get it, I'm guessing right about there. That way this kind of protects us a little bit. If you go to bump into it, you know, you're not going to get it in the cookie nads. Let me see if I can dig up again, like I said, for piping. Found out this is a J-tube from a VW Bug exhaust. I was kind of looking at that to get it away from you, but again, you can be reaching over that to go grab the lever and all. I think we're still better off maybe just trying to get it right there. I don't have anything that threads into that yet. We have to, we'll just run to Home Depot. That's probably about an hour, hour and a half later. Let's go see. It's got a little bit of warmth to it. Let's go see if that battery has any kind of life to it. This is a load tester. It's basically, it's got a big toaster built into it, and you heat it up. It's got a needle. You hit it. It's junk. I let it charge a little bit more, but that should hold in about the green or to that yellow area right there, depending on how many amps are in it. And she's just coming right down to 4 volts. Not holding. I didn't expect it would, but then again, I thought the carburetor was going to be dirty too, right? What do you think the chances are we could stand this thing up without killing ourselves? For a shot. I kind of like to see how everything sets. This might be a very bad idea. As long as I catch on the video, I guess. I'm still alive. We can kind of look at the controls a little bit better. Yeah, I think I think probably that's where you're going to use it most. I don't know, I really haven't used a log splitter a bunch in my life. Would you use it more in that setup or laying down? It would be easy to roll the logs into it. Plus when they split, where do they fall off? If it's in that position, you laying on your feet. That might be a better. So you're not going to be anywhere near the exhaust. You're just going to work the lever here. I think that sits a little bit more upright too yet. It's just rubbing. Yeah, I think that'll stand square. Alright. Get rid of this. That noise you're hearing in the background is an air conditioner that's humming. Alright, so I need a filter and I need an elbow. And it's like 10:30 at night, so I'm not going to be able to get either one of those right now. So I may take a break and we'll pick it back up tomorrow. It won't make any difference to you. This can seem seamless. I wonder where the oil leaked out. It still had a bunch in the tank. You know, it could be the pump also, right? When we fire it up, we may find that the pump's oozing somewhere. Hopefully that stuff works. Yeah, so that'd be easy for controls, easy to get to that stuff. Easy to reach around and grab the choke is, you got to grab by hand. The other one's throttle. I thought it was choke. That's throttle. So that would be your choke. And then the battery's set up. I probably have a battery I can use. A good, decent used one. The battery doesn't have a pull start. I think it seems like a bit of an overkill, especially like if a log splitter, you're going to use it for what, you know, for a month, and then you're going to go put it away the rest of the time. Well, the battery's mostly going to be junk. There's a tag. I don't know if that gives up a year or anything. And then there's got to be some sort of lock pin in that hole that went to here. We could probably make something up with a quick pin that goes in there. I don't think, at least in my state, you need a license plate on these. You can tow it behind your car. I don't think you need to have anything. And maybe that's what the VIN number or whatever, if you have to register it to pull. And with that, this thing's like a big mouse trap, and watch out. Come slamming down on me. A couple of wires I'm looking at. So this is going to be probably the kill. Let's go see where that goes. It goes, yeah, so that's going to the toggle switch. So that's the kill. That's going to ground out the coil and shut it off. This, the purple wire, that purple wire right there is going to be your charge power coming out. And this, more than likely, is a low oil shutoff, which isn't connected neither. So nothing is charging the battery back up, as I thought. So we're going to have to go figure out, first of all, if it does put anything out, and if so, a way to tie it back to the positive of the battery without having a drain. Okay, we got ourselves a filter. We'll date it because it's got no hour meter. I think somebody will understand that in 10 years. And we got muffler parts, except for I screwed up. I'll show you why in a second. So I was hoping to have pipe extension on that can get welded on. This gets threaded onto here, and then when you got the other elbow there, we can kind of tweak it and move it around where we wanted. Unfortunately, 1 inch, and that one's 7/8. I didn't see it when it was wrapped up in the plastic. It looked good to me, so that does not go in there. I think we can still work around it because I'm not going back to the store. Figure we'll clean it up, we'll weld it, we'll try to find a happy medium, say somewhere in between the plastic on this and the plastic on the gas tank. Probably should favor this more than the gas tank. And worst case scenario, what we can do is we'll change that pipe out. If I find it's really an issue, I can lengthen this pipe and at a later date move the muffler further away from harm's way. Alright, so let's get some grinding done, some cleaned up, get a tack or two on that. Maybe we can even put on a little bit of an angle and get that connected. Let's jump over to that gas tank. The muffler's all welded up solid now. So that wants to go right there just because that's where they made that hole. I think we should probably take like angle. What's that piece of angle that was on top? We'll use this. And we'll go something like that on one side. And a bit of a lip on this side. So let's just weld something. We'll clean this up. We'll weld a support this way, and wherever it lines up, we'll kind of push it against it, and we'll weld one going the other way, just to kind of keep the tank around. And probably what we can do is maybe we'll drill some holes and we'll put some just big fat tie wraps around it. And if we need to take the tank off to go drain it or something, just cut the tie wraps and let it free, but it'll be supported by some brackets. And you didn't think I was going to paint it, did you? I didn't say paint it well, I just said paint it. Don't you hate people just do that and leave that stabber on there? No more stabber. And the battery's got about another 3 hours of charge time on it. See if it improved at all. It's in the bad, but it's not as bad as it was. I think we'll use it for now. If we have to fire it up, we'll throw a jumper pack on it. I still want to replace this double lamp cord thing. I don't have anything at the moment. Let's just see if it's got enough to crank it. Oh yeah, good. Scrounge around for a bungee cord. I found this one. I think we get that knot out of there. It might be the right length. If I get that knot out of there. Yeah. Don't fit the hole. Let's open that up. All right, what else we got? We gotta get a gas line from there around to wherever the fuel pump is, somewhere over here. It's in there somewhere. Get the cover back off. I think we're ready to put some gas in it, but I think I want to lower the mousetrap. So that doesn't bite us. It might knock you out a little bit. So my only question is the fuel pump going to work? I guess we're going to find out. And if anything leaks. Who knows if this tank is any good. I'll call it right there for now. Let's get her to kick over. Choke is on. Throttle, just give her a little. So that's full throttle. It's off. Just give her just a tad. Choke is on. Keys on. You got no crank. Go prime it a little bit. But if it runs and dies after the prime, because it's still letting the fuel ball fill up, so it should run and die for a second, or run and stay running. Two air fuel mixes, a low and a high. Rev her up. That's the idle speed, that one. There you go. I'm not sure which one's which. Yeah, that's the low. Rev her up, see how she does. A little too lean. both up a little. Idle. A little bit of sparks. I don't have the air cleaner on it yet, so the air cleaner is going to mix it up a little bit too. I'm just trying to get it close. We could dial it in again later. Kill it. Alright, good. She runs decent. It's pretty quiet too with that muffler. It seems like it'll be fine. Heat-wise, so far we're good. We'll see how it is after about a half an hour. Alright, a couple things I want to try real quick is I want to get a test light on that pink wire coming out of there, and we're going to fire it back up and see if any power comes out of it. We're looking at that right there to see if we get any power coming out of the charging system. Gonna double check my test light works. It does. Yeah, so no power is coming out of the charging system, so it could either have a bad rectifier, or the charging system, the magneto itself, is got issues. Not that big of a deal. The engine does not require power to run. It doesn't need the charging system to run. That's done on its own coil, and nothing else demands power other than the starter. So having to put a charger on the battery maybe once in a while with a good battery, who knows? That's something that's really kind of an issue right now. Could chase it, could be this. If so, I may have one of those that are easy. I'm not gonna be that concerned about it. Let's go take the coupler, slide that back into place so that the pump is working, throw some fluid in it, see what she does. Anyway, so we got about 2.5 gallons out of it. So half of this should do it. What's your bets on if I'm going to spill it? I'm going to say pretty good. It's that air thing that gets you, right? Paint's like the hardest one. Try pouring paint out of a paint can. Easy, you got to kind of rotate them up. If you get it, there you go. Where air can go back in. Halfway up. Hopefully we fire up and all the oil that we saw leaked on the ground was from something else. Come on, baby. Oh no, I hit the throw. I killed the power. I guess we'll wait and see. Maybe I just had a hose pop off and it leaked and it screwed them up. We'll cycle it some and see what we got. I do see like some weird, actually it looks almost like electrical tape is on there. So far so good. Only thing I think we need to address now is gotta get some kind of lock on here for this. I'm sure there was something that went in there. It probably either had a pin or something that held it. So let's see what we can come up with here. How about I like something, instead of having like a nut on it, something you just pull a pin on. What about like a trailer hitch pin, you know, for like the 2-inch receiver? Let me see if I got one of them around. Maybe we can like weld it on and set like a washer and put the pin in. Yeah, one of these guys. What if we go on the inside? If we were to take that and like weld it, have it go across. I actually think that shouldn't be sitting down like that neither, right? We should have a space, a couple inches. Maybe we'll weld that up higher and we'll get something like a rubber bushing would be good. If we can get something like that has a little bit of dampening on it, so when you flip it down it slams onto like a little bit of a bumper. Let me see if I can get like a, maybe a shock, the old car shock, the bushing for the eye bolt thing. Junk drawer shopping. We have to drill something like that out though, huh? How about that one? Is that other one just a bushing too, or no? That's part of it. Do we have two that are like that? Well, yes we do. So what if we were to do something like that? Too bad they're a little snugger. They're gonna fall off. Possibly. Dig a little more. If not, we'll go with those. Alright, if I find something different, I'll bring you back. If not, those are culprits unless you hammer one of those on. What if we use one of each? What if we just take that, stick it in hot water after we get the pin on, we just shove it on there because we don't want it to come back off anyway. Alright. Good idea. Glad you thought of it. Don't forget that. A couple of Hoogie Daddies. You're going to need, what, the thickness of the metal on top and just a hair more. Let's call it like right there. Probably would have been a good idea. Oh, you know what? I wonder if we're going to cook it, welding it though. Yeah, we'll mock it up first. So we're going to weld that, something like that underneath. And hopefully this works. There we go. Turn that. Can you turn it? I think I'll turn it some direction where we can get the pin in, you know. I think that'd be pretty good. We probably actually hammer that down a little more, huh? We'll make our mark where we want it. What if you leave a little room for a washer? You think that's good enough? I think that'll hold it. The only thing I'm worried about is you towing it behind a car or something and just bouncing along and you know want to go do one of those. Calm down, I heard you. Instantly dries too. When I looked at it, the position for one was still not quite enough. It was still on a downhill slope. See how that does for us. Come on down. There we go. There's room for a wash. I don't think we're going to need it though. That's pretty good. Squeak, squeak, squeak. And our air gap is pretty even going across now, instead of being slamming down. Plus it just gives a little bit of cushion if you're running it in that position too, right? All right, what time it is? And here we are at the cabin. I was worried about not having any logs to split. I actually called Brian, hey, you got any logs that can run through the splitter? And I come to the camp, and this is laying across the path to the outhouse. That's about 12 inches in diameter. That may get us 1 or 2 pieces to work with. Cold start. Turn the choke off. Like it never happened. Let's see if that battery held up. It's a day later. Choke. Don't know which way's choke. Can't put the gas back on. Put her up against the log with some low RPM, see what it does, and we'll build up from there. Seems like it'll work decent, but the placement of the gas tank, now that we're looking at it in that position, kind of sucks because there's no cage to catch anything that falls off, and you can be whacking off the side of the gas tank. So I think we're gonna go flip her up to horizontal, give her a couple shots that way and see how it does. Try it again. Really test it. Let's go against the grain. That does pretty good. That's a hard way to split wood. You wouldn't do that normally. I just wanted to screw around, see how much snot it had under something with a lot of resistance, and it seems like it does just fine. That's green wood too, literally, as you saw the water rushing out of it. Well guys, that worked out quite well. As far as cost, I bought it for 200 bucks, and we probably have about another 40 bucks in it. I think the only thing I bought was the elbows and the oil filter. I think the oil filter was like 6-8 bucks, and the elbows is about 10. And then whatever you want to consider the gear oil and the muffler that I already had in my stash were worth. So we're in it for about 240. What's it worth all done? My guess, probably about 750 in my area. It depends on the time of year, probably too. As you're going into the fall, they're probably worth more, especially if oil prices keep going up. You know, people want to switch over to burning wood. But I may hold on to this one for a little bit. At least get the dead trees that I got at the camp cut up and split, and whatever ones I got laying around here doing the same. Well, I want to just take a second to thank all you guys for just hanging out with me and having a little fun wrenching on stuff, hunting the stuff down, getting it out of where they are, and resurrecting them and bringing them back to life. And we'll do it again sometime real soon. So with that, I'm going to sign off. I want to thank you all for hanging out. See you soon. Later. Now, second run out. We're running for about 45 minutes. No beeping. Everything seems to be working like it should. We're at about 10 feet of water.